All right, so the next question is, what is the value of the discriminant given by the equation 2x squared plus 4x minus 2 equals to 0? So last time I covered what the quadratic formula was, right? So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, so the discriminant is based off this formula. And discriminant, or d, I'll write d for now, is equal to b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so that's what the discriminant is equal to. And the discriminant gives us a lot of useful information about the zeros, or the solutions, of our quadratic equation. Okay, so I'm going to give that information now. So if d is greater than 0, so if the coefficient b squared minus 4ac produces a positive number, then we know that there are two zeros. Okay, if d is equal to 0, we know that there is 1 0. And if d is less than 0, we know that there are two complex zeros. Okay, so what do I mean by complex zeros? So in our last question, if we were to calculate the discriminant of this, so b squared minus 4ac, so just minus 4ac, we'll get a negative number, right? So negative 4 times 1 times 4 is negative 16, as you see here. And because of that, we figured out that we have two complex solutions, or zeros. Okay, so in this question here, by calculating the discriminant, we come to understand how many solutions are there of x that make this equation equal to 0. Are there two real solutions? Is there one real solution? Are there two complex solutions to our equation here? Okay, so to find the discriminant of this example, we're going to calculate our discriminant. Okay, so we have our equation 2x squared plus 4x minus 2 equal to 0. Okay, so we have coefficients a here, b, and c. Okay, so if we use our discriminant equation, we get b squared, or 4 squared, minus 2, or 4ac, or 4 times 2 times negative 2. So 4 times 2 times negative 2, and we get 16 times minus 8 times negative 2, and we get negative 16 plus 16 minus minus 16, so 16 minus minus 16, and minus minus is a positive, so we get 32. So we see that the discriminant is greater than 0, therefore there are two real zeros. Okay. So if we were to factor this quadratic equation, we would find two real, I guess, factors for this equation. Okay. So another way to think about this, all right, is to think about how the quadratic formula works, right? So the quadratic formula is actually really dictated by the square root function here, right? So whatever the result of the square root is going to determine how many zeros we have. And this is because if the square root is positive, this plus or minus value will be maintained within our quadratic formula. So we'll have to calculate negative b plus a positive square root and negative b minus a positive square root. And that's why we have two real solutions. Okay? So if this square root was equal to 0, this positive and negative sign would actually be nullified, right? So negative b plus 0 and negative b minus 0 is still negative b. So in this sense, using mathematical logic, we understand that if b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, we only have one real solution. And finally, if the square root is negative, in our previous example, we have seen that by using the imaginary number, we can circumvent the negative square root, and we would have to do negative b plus a imaginary number and negative b minus an imaginary number, and that will give us two complex roots. Okay, so that's another way you can think about using the discriminant by using the quadratic formula and breaking it down and seeing how it differs based on the positive value or the negative value or 0 value of the square roots. Okay? So other than this, this solution is correct. Nice job.